Chapter 5 Trapped. Come on, cried Annie. Jack raced behind her. Where's behind the farm? Where are they being followed? Here, quick! And he dashed toward the door of a hallway. She pushed the door open. The two of them stumbled to the dark, cold room. The door creaked shut behind them. Give me the flashlight, said Annie. Jack handed it to her, and she switched it on. Yikes! A row of lights right in front of them. Annie flicked off the light. Silent. They aren't moving, Jack whispered. And he turned light back on. They're just suits, said Jack. Jack said. Without heads, said Annie. Let me have the flashlight second, said Jack, so I can look in the books. Annie handed him the flashlight. He pulled out the castle book. He flipped to the pages until he found what he was looking for. Jack put the book away. It's called The Armory, he said. It's where the armor and the weapon are stored. He shined the flashlight around the room. Oh man, whispered Jack. The light fell the shiny bricks, legs, plates, arm plates on the shelves filled with helmet and weapons, on a shield, spear, sword, crossbow, clubs, battle axe. There was a noise in the hall. Voices. Let's hide, said Annie. Wait, said Jack. I got the cheeks on from something first. Hurry, said Annie. It's take just a second, said Jack. Hold this. He lent Annie the flashlight. He tried to lift the helmet from a shelf. It was too heavy. He bent over and dragged the helmet on his head, and the picture slammed shut. Oh, forget it. It was worse than having a 5 years old on your head. More like having a 10 years old on your head. Not only could Jack not lift his head, he couldn't see anything either. Jack, Annie's voice sounded far away. The voices were getting closer. Turn off the flashlight, Jack's voice echoed into the metal chamber. He struggled to helmet off. Suddenly he lost balance, went crashing into other pieces of armor. The metal plate and the weapon clattered to the floor. Jack lay down floor in the dark. He tried to get up, but his head was too heavy. He heard a deep voice. Someone grabbed his arms. The next thing he knew, his helmet was yanked off. He was staring at the blazing light of the fierce torture. Chapter 6. Ta-da! The torchlight. Jack saw the huge man standing over him. One with very squinty eyes held a torch. One with a very red face held Jack. And one with very long mustache held on to Annie. Annie was kicking and yelling, "Stop! Stop!" said the one with the very long mustache. Who art thou? Said the one with the very red face. Spice. Foreigners, spies, Forgina, Egyptians, Romans, Persians, said the squinty-eyed one. No, you dummies, said Annie. Oh, brothers, Jack muttered. Arrest them, said Red Face. The dungeon, said Squinty Eyes. The guards marched Jack and Annie to the army. Jack looked back frantically. Where was the backpack? Go, said the guard, giving him a push. Jack went down to the march and a long dark hallway. Squinty Annie, Mustache, Jack, and Red down to the narrow window staircase. Jack heard Annie shouting to the guard, dummies, meanies, shouting to the guard, dummies, meanies. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. The guard laughed. They didn't talk to her seriously at all. At the bottom of the stair is the big iron door and bar across it. Squinty pushed the bar off to the door. Then he shoved at the door. It creaked open. Jack and Annie were pushed into the cold, clammy room. A fierce torch led to the dungeon. There was a chain hanging in the 50 walls. There were deep from ceiling, making pools on stone floors. It was the creepiest place Jack had ever seen. We'll keep them on their feet till the feast is done. Then turn them over to the Duke, said Squinty. He knows the car. Take care of thieves. They will be hanging tomorrow, said the said Mustache. If you rats don't get them first, said Red. They all laughed. Jack saw Annie and the backpack. She was quietly unzipping it. Come on, let's chain the two of them, said Squinty. The guards started toward them. Annie wiped the flashlight out of the pack. Ta-da! She yelled. The guard froze. They stared at shining flashlight in her hand. Annie switched the light on. The guard gasped in fear. They jumped back against the wall. Squinty dropped the torch. It fell into the dirty puddle on the floor and smuttered and went out. My magic wand, Annie said, waving flashlight. Get down, or I will wipe you out. Jack mouthed rope open, and he fiercely pointed lights at one, then other. Each covered his eyes. Down, all you down, get down, shouted Annie. One by one the guard lay down. The guard lay down, shouted he. One by one the guard lay down and went to the floor. Jack couldn't believe it. Come Come on, Annie said to him. Let's go. Jack looked open the doorway. He looked at guards squatting on the ground. Hurry, said Annie. In one quick leap, Jack followed her out the terrible dungeon. Chapter 7, The Secret Passage. Annie and Jack raced by Wendy, staring down to the long hallway. They gone far when they heard the shout behind them. Dogs barked in the distance. They're coming, Annie cried. In here, said Jack. He dove, shoved open to the door from the hallway and pulled Annie into a dark room. Jack pushed the door shut. Then Annie shined her flashlight around the room. There were a row of sack and wooden bars. I will better look in the book, said Jack. Give it to me. Annie gave him a flashlight and his backpack. He pulled down, started, and tearing toward it. Shh, said Annie. Something's coming. Jack and Annie jumped behind the door. As it creaked open, Jack and Annie breathed. A light from the torch danced widely over the sack of bird, and light disappeared. The door slammed shut. Oh man, whispered Jack. We have to hurry. They might come back. His hands were trembling as he flipped to the castle book. Here was a map of the castle, he said. Look, it must be a room we're in a storeroom. Jack studied this room in the book. This sack full of of wine. Who cares? We have to go, said I, before they come back. No, look, said Jack. He pointed at the map. Here's a trapdoor, he read aloud. This door leads to a storeroom, through the secret passage to a pipes over a moat. What's precipice? Said Annie. I don't know. We will find out, said Jack. But first, we have to find the door. Jack looked at the picture carefully, then flashed light around the room. The floor of the room was made of the stone, the trapdoor, and the picture was 5 stones away from the door to the hall. He shined the light to the floor and counted the stone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He stamped the 50 stone. It was loosed. He put the flashlight on the floor. He worked to a finger under the teeny sheets of the stone and lifted. Help, said Jackson. And he had to help to lift the stone squarely and places underneath the small wooden door and handle to the door and ducked and picked up the flashlight and shined it all. The little ladder, he said. Let's go. He clipped the flashlight and filled with whey in small ladder, and he followed. When they both reached the bottom of the ladder, Jack shined a light on them. There was a tunnel. He crouched, began to move through the damp hall. They flashed a light brightly in stone walls. He shook the light. Were the batteries running out down? I think our light dying. He said to Annie, "Hurry!" She called from behind. Jack went faster. He back hurt from crouching. The light got dimmer and dimmer. He was desperate to get out the castle before batteries died completely. Soon they reached to the wooden door, the door at the end of the tunnel. Jack unlocked the push open. He poked his head out. He couldn't see anything in misty darkness. The air felt good, cool and fresh. He took a deep breath. "Where are we?" whispered Annie behind him. "What do you see?" "Nothing. But I think we come to the outside of the castle," said Jack. "I will find out." Jack flashed his pack. He put the pack on his back, stuck his hand his door and ground. Just there. "I'm coming to the feet first," he said. Jack turned around the small tunnel, lay down stomach. He stuck one into the door, then the other. He inched down bit by bit until he was hanging on the door, clutching the ledge. "This must be a precise piece," he called to Annie. "Pull me up." Annie reached for Jack's hand. "I can't hold you," she said. Jack felt the fingers slipping. Then down he fell. Down through to the darkness. Splash! Chapter 8. The Nights. The night water filled Jack's nose and covered his head. His glasses fell off. He grabbed them just in time. He caught the flashlight, flailed his arm. "Jack!" Jack! Annie was sailing from above. "I'm in the moat." Jack gasping for air. He tried to treat the water and put his glasses back on. With the backpack, his shoes, and heavy clothes, he could hardly stay afloat. Splash! "Hi, I'm here," Annie sputtered. Jack couldn't hear her nearby, but he couldn't see her. "Which way is land?" Annie asked. "I don't know, just swim." Jack dug and paddled through the cold black water. He heard Annie swimming too. At first he seemed as she was swimming in front of him. But then he heard a splash behind him. "Annie?" "What?" Her voice come front, not behind. Another splash behind. Jack heard almost stop. Crocodiles? He could see anything with his water. Straight grass, glasses. Annie, he whispered. What? Swim faster. But I'm here. I'm over here. Near the edge, she whispered. Jack swam to the dark door and heard a voice. He imagined crocodiles sliding after. Another splash, not far away. Jack had to touch a wet. Lifting. Ah! He screamed. It's me. Take my hand, said Annie. Jack grabbed her hand. She pulled him to the edge of the moat and crawled over an embankment onto a grass. Safe. Another splash came to the moat. He was shivering though. His teeth were chattering. He shook water off his glasses, put them back. It was so misty. He couldn't see castle. He couldn't even see the moat, much less a crocodile. We made it, said Annie. Her teeth was chattering too. I know, said Jack. But where are we? He peered the foggy darkness. Jack reached to the back, pulled the flashlight. He pushed and switched no more light. They were trapped, not in a dungeon, but still quite cold darkness. Nee! A horse whined. Just then the cloud parted. A full moon was shining into the sky. A pool of light spread to the mist. Jack and Annie saw, just a few feet away, the knights. He sat a black horse. His armor shone in the moonlight. A visitor, his face, but he seemed to be staring straight at Jack and Annie. Chapter 8. Under the moon. Jack froze. It's him, Annie whispered. The knight held out a glove of hand. Come on, Jack, Annie said. Where are you going? Said Jack. He want to help us, said Annie. How do you know? I can just tell, said Annie, and stepped toward the horse. The knights dismounted. The knight picked Annie up to put her on the back of his horse. Come on, Jack, she called. Jack moved slowly toward the knight. It was like a dream. The knight picked him up too. He placed the horse behind Annie. The knight got behind them. He slapped the reins. The black horse cantered beside the moonlight. Water was smooth, water of moats. Jack rocked back and forth in the saddle. The wind was very powerful. He felt and couldn't ride. Forward. On this horse, it was mysterious night over the ocean, over the morning, over the moon and hungry darkness. There's the treehouse, said Annie. She pointed towards the grove of trees. The knight steered the horse towards the tree. See, there it is, Annie said, pointing to a ladder. The knight brought his horse to a stop. He dismounted and helped Annie down. Thank you, sir, she said, and she bowed. Then Jack, thank you, he said, and he bowed also. The knight got back on his horse. He raised a gloved hand and he slapped the reins. The rope rode off through the mist. Annie stared at the tall ladder, and Jack followed, climbed the dark tree. His dark tree house was looked out the window. The knight was riding toward the outer wall. They saw him go through the other gate. Clouds started to cover the moon again. For a brief moment, Jack, he saw the knight armor gleaming top of hill. Behind the castle, clouds covered completely. And he back the mist followed. Swallow land. He's gone, whispered Annie. Jack shivered in clothes and kept staring at blackness. I'm cold, said Annie. We're the Pennsylvania book. Jack heard some fumbled to the darkness. He kept looking out the window. I think this is it, said Annie. I feel a silk bookmark. Jack half listened. He was hoping it was night. The armor gleamed again to the distance. Okay, I'm going to use this. That's said Annie, because I think it was the right one. Here goes. Okay, I'm pointing at the wish. To wish. I wish we could go to Frog Creek. Jack heard the wind blow softly at first. I hope I point to a right picture and right book, said Annie. What? Jack looked back to her. Right picture, right book. The treehouse began to rock. The wind got louder and louder. I hope it wasn't Dinosaur Book, said Annie. Stop! Jack shouted at the treehouse. Too late. The treehouse started to spin. It was spinning and spinning. The wind was screaming. Suddenly, there was a silence. Absolutely silent. Chapter 10. One Mysterious Solve. The air was warm. It was dawn from the dog barked. I think the Henry barking. Annie said, we didn't come home. We did come home? They both looked at the treehouse window. That was close, said Jack. The distant street was there. There was a light in upstairs window. Uh-oh, said Annie. I think Mom and Dad are up. Hurry. Wait, in a daze, Jack unzipped his backpack and pulled the castle book. It was quite wet, but Jack placed it in white on other books. Come home, hurry, said Annie, scolding on the treehouse. Jack followed down and led her, and down took off between the glary black trees. They left the woods and ran down there, this street. They got to their yard and creeped across the lawn and down back door. Jack and Annie slipped inside the house. These are not downstairs yet, whispered Annie. Shh, said Jack. He led the way to stair and down the hall. No sign of Mom or Dad, but he could hear the water running to the bedroom. Their house was so different from dark, cold castle. So safe, so cozy, so friendly. Annie stood up to the bedroom door. She gave Jack a smile and disappeared inside her room. Jack hurried into his room. He took off his damp clothes and pulled on his dry, soft pajamas. He sat down on his bed and unzipped his backpack. He took the notebook. He felt around pencil, but his hands touched and something else. The bookmark was off his back. It was heavy part of the book. Jack held the bookmark inside the lamp. I studied ladder and smooth and warm. And inside the ancient first, Jack noticed the latter one. The bookmark, a fancy M. Jack opened the drawer to his bed, and was letter. It was the same M. No one was amazing to fact. Jack took a deep breath. One mysterious soul, the person who had dropped the gold medallion, the Tom of Dinosaur, was the same person who won was book in treehouse. Who was the person? Jack placed the bookmark next to the medallion. He closed his drawer. He picked up the pencil. He turned to the list in his notebook. He started to write in his new fact, but before he could draw the M, his eyes closed. He dreamed the night again, and 3 of the riding black horse through the cold, dark night, beyond the other walls of castle, and up over the moonlight till into the mist. I hope you enjoyed the production of Magic Treehouse 2, The Nights at the Dawn by Mary Pope Osborne.